Here's what's going on. You are watching the greatest Braves team in the history of the Braves. Here's what's going on. You are watching the greatest Braves team in the history of the Braves. Now, I want you to put that in perspective because there have been a couple of different times, John, that we've had 7 All-Stars. We've never had 8.
Might have 9.
We've never had this many guys go. Do you guys realize the entire infield is going to the All-Star game?
Can we make this game in Seattle fair? Okay, here's how we make it fair. We just call it the American League All-Stars versus the Atlanta Braves. We'll just send our team. Everybody else can go home. You all can chill. All you Dodgers and Diamondbacks, or there might be one of those, and Mets. Oh, there's only one of those. You guys just, Alonso, go home. Have your kid throw it to you again. How about that? Sit out there in the back with the wiffle ball. Throw it again, kid. And just make you feel better. Just send the Braves, okay? Just send them from Tampa. They'll play the American League, and we hope the American League All-Stars can possibly give them a game.
Braves sweep the Marlins. And I got to be honest, I was a little shocked. Marlins came in here. I didn't expect us to sweep them. I expected us to win the series. We humiliated the Marlins.
Did you see the numbers on the homestand? Here are the numbers. Carl, against the Twins and the Marlins, 6 games, 6 wins, no losses, right? 42 runs scored. Here's the stat, though. 10 runs allowed in 6 games. 10. Everybody talks about the offense. 10 runs allowed. You hit 19 home runs. You gave up 10 runs. You hit 19 home runs and gave up 10 runs.
You're watching the greatest Braves team ever. Now, you don't want to acknowledge that until they win the World Series. I'm going to acknowledge that what we've accomplished, what we did in the month of June, how many All-Stars we already have, the numbers John just laid out, are telling you exactly what I'm telling you. And the thing about this is, if you went and compared teams, and John, we hear this all the time, and I know you've been here a long time, and people say, oh, I've been here. I'm living in the present, and I get it. We have to compare this team to some of the all-time great Braves teams that maybe had, I don't know, more Hall of Fame pitchers on it. But it doesn't mean that they're better than this team. And that is the problem people are having. They're going, oh, wait a minute. There's nobody on this team that's better than Smoltz or Glavine or Maddox. Okay. Doesn't mean that the team is not better. It doesn't mean that they don't have a Chipper Jones. Riley's great, but doesn't mean the team is not better. So I'm looking at all these great Braves teams, and John, I'm going back and forth with, I just got to own it. This damn team is good.
Well, here's the difference. 98 would have been the team. But that 98 team then went and gagged against the Padres, Tony Gwynn, Ken Caminiti, Greg Vaughn, and Trevor Hoffman.
Hoffman was unbelievable.
Right. So Kevin Brown. And
they threw him every day, didn't they?
They did. And so the Padres beat them. So they won 106 games, which is the franchise record. And, of course, this team's ahead of that. That team was sick good. I mean, even Bobby Fick at first base. I mean, it was Javi Lopez and Marcus Giles and Rafael Furcal.
I think Olsen's better, though.
Yeah, I know. And Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and Gary Sheffield. And, I mean, that team was sick good, all right? It was a great team. The difference was, as great a team as that was, and they were a great team, I'm not. They were the best team in baseball. The difference is this team, they're not only just the best team in baseball, and I've been saying that all year, even when teams, when they were like, oh, they're the fifth. No. They're I'm not sure it's even remotely close. What they're doing. All right, stop for a second, Carl. In every championship series, if you go over the course of time, every championship team has a moment in their season where something happens and it just kind of clicks. Okay, there's a big hit, they'll walk off, or there's something. There's a moment where everything started to click. I didn't know it at the time. We know it now. That the moment was Pete Alonso in the dugout yelling, "Throw it again," because from that time on, the Braves are 23-3. The Braves are like, "Oh, you want us to throw that again?" That was the moment the Atlanta Braves went next level, ultra level. They're 23-3, and they could almost be 25-1.
Their manhood got challenged, and they took on the challenge. And they took on the challenge beyond the Mets. The thing that I love about this team is, and this is something that Snit has talked about. It's Dukes and Bell, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. John Fricke in for Mike today on this 4th of July weekend. It's obviously the 3rd. Tomorrow's the 4th. But I think the thing that I love about this team is it wasn't just beating the Mets. It was the next day. That game was just as important. after the Mets series, and you go look, the Cincinnati series, for me, huge moment. Cincinnati's really feeling themselves. You go up there.
They won 11 in a row.
Yeah, they sell out all weekend, and you beat them like a drum. This team has the ability to forget about what happened, throw it again. That challenged their manhood, but then they were able to move through every series and focus on the task at hand. You're absolutely right. Listen, beating the Mets was one thing. Now you just swept the Marlins, and all of a sudden now you're 9 games in front of these guys because of the head-to-head matchups?
The Mets come in, and you kick them to the curb, and they have utterly collapsed. The Phillies, you're up there. They're going, we're 8 back. We could be 5 back. We sweep these guys. You take 2 out of 2 because of the rain out. They're 10 back, and they're reeling. So the Mets have been kicked out of the ring, and they're they had chairs hit over their head, and they're lying bleeding on the floor. The Phillies are out of the ring, holding on to the bottom rope, okay, and you've got the Marlins on the turnbuckle, and you're about to flip them over too, okay. So this Royal Rumble is over. Somebody asked me an interesting question over the weekend. He said, John, the NL East is over. Are we going to get bored? We got no race.
No.
And I said, well, here's how we're not going to get bored, because it's so great that we're going to have an opportunity to set record after record after record, and we'll start focusing in on all Strider to 300 strikeouts, Acuna to 40-70. Can Olsen break the all-time home run record of Andrew Jones? Can all these things happen? Can somebody else go on a tear? All these things are going to be in front of us, and we've got questions we have to answer. Are we certain that Iglesias is going to be locked down? Look good the other night. Look good last night. Okay, are we good? We still have some question marks that we have to answer. Is Fricke going to be able to come back? Is Soroka really here? We got questions.
We do. I think after the All-Star break, and it may not be Schnitt, it may be somebody else in that clubhouse. But to your point, we've already done special things. Now let's talk about legacy.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of those milestones that you're talking about chasing and doing it and being in the baseball annals forever. If that don't motivate you, I don't know what does. If you're Spencer Strider, if you're Ronald Acuna, if you're Matt Olson, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what does. To say, I did something in the season that nobody has ever done, or I was able to reach a certain milestone that nobody has ever done in this franchise, that's how you stay motivated.